Jacob V Weekly. As you can tell, we are live streaming. We like to do most of our episodes live streaming, and we also like to start again by inviting you to donate to Caddyshack of Hamel, Illinois, Caddyshack IL on Facebook. Donate now. We're celebrating 666 cats rescued since 2017. Every dime goes straight to saving and treating and adopting out real cats in need. I've been there. I've seen it. Help them. All my pets are rescued. Save a life or 9. Let's start the show. We're joined today by one of my closest friends, an OG from way back, my dear bestie, Emma. So Emma and I first met when it was August 25th, 2005.
Yes.
It was the first week of freshman year of high school.
Freshman year. Yes. Kirkwood High School.
And listen, don't dox me. And I screamed. I was going to see the White Stripes that night, maybe a pivotal moment in my life. Mm-hmm. And I turned down the hallway, and I needed to feel ready. And I had picked up my T-shirt and my pants and my boots, but I needed something more. And I screamed down the hallway, "Does anyone have any eyeliner?" And to my rescue, my soon-to-be new best friend, M-Dog, with the eyeliner. So you had like the best 2005 highlights at that time.
Did I have highlights?
Yeah, like it was like dark. The base was darker, and then you had really good highlights.
Did I have some like red lowlights in there? I
definitely.
think that was Cherry Cola by Redken
yeah.
when they first launched that.
Oh God, that's lit.
Yeah.
I do love Redken.
An OG shade in their Shades EQ line. Yeah, I was rocking the jean skirt.
When I first went dark, it was the Shades Walnut.
When did you go dark?
Sophomore year. After my highlights had kind of all grown out, and I was starting to grow a beard.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I was going through some shit. It was real heavy.
Weren't we all?
It was real heavy then.
Yeah, freshman year, I was wearing a jean mini skirt, Ugg boots, and an American Eagle hoodie, I believe.
At the time?
Yeah, the day we met. That was my.
Because I remember that outfit, but I'm just picturing a different outfit on you at the time. But I started making regular visits down the hall to your locker, so it could be there in my memory. That's now the foreign language building. At the time, it was the science building.
Is that foreign language now? I thought,
yeah.
They have the math in the other hallway.
Right.
Did that happen when we were in school?
Yeah. When they finally finished. It's so weird because the campus was so different by the time we graduated because they were starting all the stuff.
Yeah, they built the new science building and all of that. They didn't have the fancy gym. I can't.
Yeah, because remember we had that terrible lady for biology in one of the new science classrooms, which was like conjoining what was the foreign language hallway with the math building. They just filled that space with that new building. Uh-huh. So we had like 1 or 2 classes in there maybe before we were done.
I forgot we had biology.
But
that was a rough class.
Yeah, we started with Buzz Lightyear in physics in that old building. Anyway, so Emma is actually here to talk to us about something she's been working on, an organization she's been sort of either helping out with or helping found, maybe. You'll tell me more about this in a minute. But I wanted to talk about, I don't want to bury the lead. We have our normal show stuff to get here through, and there's plenty to talk about, as crazy as the world is. And but I don't want to bury the lead. So I want to talk about what is Surviving STL? What does my audience need to know, and how can they help out?
Right on. So Surviving STL started myself, my co-founder Amanda, and a few other women, very brave women who spoke out against their abusers in St. Louis. I had no idea at the time when I shared my experience that so many women would come forward. But also that it would have become what it's become today. So, originally it started out as just outing our abusers and speaking our truths and being honest about the things that these people have done to us. And then it kind of started into like a sisterhood and just this really strong bond with these core women. And we have since become a nonprofit. So we are an official nonprofit organization. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Of course, we post on our Instagram. We just had our 1-year anniversary. So we took a week of silence and solidarity with survivors. We came back with a post. We've had some technical issues getting new posts up because we really want to make sure that we are making an impact when we make a statement. Yeah, I think that's
so. Okay, so we're a year in to the actual work. So you've had some time to take some shape and whatnot. So as a nonprofit, what is the objective?
Really, we're trying to just we want to change the way that rape culture is handled, from personal relationships like you and I. Like if I like, hey, your friend's being a super creep right now. You know, in that situation, we would want the person to then stand up and say, hey, dude, you're creeping girls out. You need to relax. Like, you need to change your vibe, all the way to the criminal justice system. I mean, we all know that Bill Cosby just got off on a technicality.
That's in my notes.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Like that's just, it's unacceptable. And a lot of judges, juries, police officers are coming around to, cat knocked over your microphone.
That damn thing. Those cats hate this show. And
takes attention away from them.
They will not rest until these conversations are put to an end.
Yeah, but
you can't stop the truth, Hans.
But yeah, so we, like a lot of those people are coming around and like believing victims and not taking a man's word over a woman's or whatever the situation.
So it's, starting off as a advocacy program,
Absolutely.
and outreach and sort of awareness organization, and also creating that I almost said fellowship, but it's more than that. But the advocacy, and also just the support and the kind of the scaffolding to make some of those changes.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And and it's super important too to mention that, just because there are women running behind it doesn't mean that we don't stand behind all survivors. From straight men, anybody in the LGBTQIA, any POC, we want to give everyone a voice because all victims deserve to be heard and their truth deserves to be shared. You doing Diet Coke or the La Croix?
These are the La Croix now. These are some crispy boys.
What flavor you got today?
These are lime. I usually get the lime, the lemon, and they throw some grapefruit in there.
Little pamplemousse.
Little pamplemousse. So sorry, I didn't mean to leave you hanging there. So
I quit. I'll walk off right now.
Yeah. Sorry. So where can people kind of find more of that information and kind of follow along with the journey? I'm assuming there's an Instagram.
Yeah, so we have our Instagram page at Surviving STL. We of course, anybody out there who wants to share their story, whether it's just being able to get it off your chest personally and or doing it, sharing it on a more public platform on our Instagram, you can always email mystory@survivingstl.org. We do have a mobile site coming soon. And then probably in the next couple of months here, we're going to have like a for real website that you can go to. That'll be a little bit more in depth than what we can put on Instagram.
Sure. So, how many survivors would you say that you've helped at this point?
Oof,
I mean, was it floodgates once the word kind of got out? I mean, it's been.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I mean, we are constantly getting news stories. In fact, I shamefully am on TikTok. I don't want to talk about it. I can't even believe I admitted that publicly. But there was an abuser being outed from St. Louis that, like, I just happened across it on TikTok. And I was like, wait a second, how did we not hear about this? And I was able to connect with one of the victims and, kind of help her. But it's constantly news stories, old stories on the same abusers, people from out of state messaging, because some of these guys have abused other women in other states, other cities, probably other countries, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know at least with my abuser, 58 women have come forward, and that's from all over the U.S. Another one had probably close to the same number, if not a little more.
Is that how the numbers grow? Is somebody outs a specific abuser and then other people jump to sort of corroborate that behavior?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is that where the volume kind of comes from?
Yeah, I think, well, and I think too, for a long time, at least with my abuser, there was a lot of fear from men and women, anybody that knew who it was. And for a long time, I was stuck just saying, yeah, we don't really talk anymore, but like, I have nothing respect for the dude, and or nothing but respect for the dude. And I mean, for years I had to say that, when in reality, I'm like, I hate this man and he's a terrible person and you should not be anywhere near him, and you shouldn't let anybody you love near him either.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, and do you find that that's common? Do you find that a lot of women corroborate that? Is it corroborate? I don't like that first syllable. I don't feel confident. Would you find that a lot of survivors were also feeling that same fear, those 58 others?
Absolutely. I mean, I actually had men send me messages saying like, thank you for speaking out. My buddy, was attacked by this guy, not sexually, but physically assaulted by him. And he's always been too afraid to say anything. And that's kind of just been the consensus, is everybody's like, we were all just waiting for somebody else to do it.
Yeah. And do you find that a lot of your survivors are coming off of a long period of holding those feelings and experiences to themselves?
Yeah. For some of the major abusers, yeah, because obviously when the numbers are getting up that high, it's been going on for a long time. But we've even, we've gotten messages from people that are like, hey, we just want to thank you guys because our friend was raped last night and we were able to get her in for a rape kit and file a police report and take care of her and get her what she needs.
Because of the resources they were familiar with from you guys?
Yeah, resources and just seeing that power in numbers, that like, if you need to support your friends. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I was sexually assaulted, there's no questions other than, how can I help? Are you okay? Here's what we're doing. And, not everyone chooses to press charges. Not everybody chooses to be out in the open. So I want to preface kind of all of this with like, I'm speaking from my experience and my experience only, and kind of that of my friends, because we've all talked about it so much.
Right. And I'm just trying to move in a sequential way that makes sense. Is that what a lot of the survivors that come to, I keep wanting to say women, but we don't want to necessarily exclude anyone. So any people that are surviving some sort of abuse that come to you guys, come to your organization, Surviving STL, are they mostly looking for a path
Honestly,
to pressing charges, or are they mostly
most of them
looking
are
for...
just looking to share their story. They just want to make it known, like, hey, this person did this to me because, I talked a lot about this with my partner Amanda, and was just kind of like, we were so tired of, one, standing by and watching all of this go on and knowing we couldn't do anything, but two, seeing how many other people allowed this to happen in the community for as long as it did. And a lot of people knew what was going on, but still saved face and were like, oh yeah, that's my homie. Like, fuck your homie, bro. He sucks. But mostly they're wanting that. We do offer legal services. So we have a lawyer who's willing to represent any victims. Get this cat away from me.
I'm sorry with the cat. He hates... You know what, Hans?
It's my energy. It's fine.
No, he's German. He hates justice. Is what it is. He's trying to silence you, and I won't stand for it. I will not stand for it. He can sleep in the garage if he wants to play.
We definitely have connections to tattoo artists who are willing to do tattoo cover-ups. We have connections to people who are doing laser tattoo removal. But really, honestly, what we mostly hear is people just wanting to share their experience and make their truth known, because there is something super freeing when you can finally tell the truth about somebody that has hurt you consistently for years.
Would you say it's a lot of tattoo business?
No, and I just don't love that idea, because I think, like, as a society, yes, we're getting away from the whole like, oh yeah, if you have tattoos, you're a criminal.
But I mean, I just meant that coincidentally, even, was there a problem of?
Well, I think that's kind of how it started. There are a couple of tattoo artists in the area who were just absolutely taking advantage of your clients. And like, as somebody who is literally licensed to touch people legally, like I can physically touch you and you can't sue me because that's what you're coming to me for.
Because you're hairstylist.
Yeah, but like, it's like, could you imagine if I was just like groping dudes under the cape, like while I was doing haircuts? Like, but that's like what these dudes were doing. Or they would be offering, I got free tattoos because I was sleeping with the tattoo artist who was learning how to tattoo.
I think we need some backstory, because I didn't know that you were a tattoo artist.
I'm not a tattoo artist, I'm a hairstylist.
I'm sorry. So she's a hairstylist, which we didn't mention. We did bury that. So Emma is a...
you mentioned it on the podcast with Clay.
You're a certified cosmetologist?
Yeah, CA in Missouri.
Right. So that's what I was asking. But but in a similar class legally of tattoo artists,
yeah, actually, you can go.
Part of your certification, your licensure is affording you the access to people in a physical, touchy way because that's part of the service that you offer.
Yes.
Not to physically touch them,
Yeah,
but
you can look up
to fix their
both
hair. You have to
cosmetologists and tattoo artists. You can look up their license to see if they're up to date on the same website.
And so what you were saying is there's a certain code or oath or sort of
ethics. I mean,
ethic,
just the morality of the
There's
situation when you're taking advantage of somebody who's coming to you for a service.
because they're allowing you into their physical barrier.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Anyway, so it could be a massage, it could be a hairstylist, it could be a tattoo artist,
A nail lady, yeah.
And so to cross that line there, it offends you specifically because you're in a similar industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
And I knew that, but I wanted because Joe's right because we didn't make that clear to everybody.
Yeah. So yeah.
And so I don't want to dwell on this too much, and we may get back to it. But what's kind of the message of Surviving STL for like this to the greater audience of people that maybe are harboring some experiences in secret that they haven't felt like they have anywhere to put them? What do you want to invite those people to do?
I mean, honestly, like I can't say it enough. Like, speak your truth, share your truth. I think I was one of the first women to come forward about my abuser. And within 10 minutes, the amount of posts that I saw flooding in from women on my friends list, I was like, oh, what just happened?
Because I remember when this was happening, and
Yeah.
we don't have to name any names, but we're friends, right?
Yeah.
So you and I,
Well, and you've been around for it.
right? And I know this person, and I know other people that know this person. So like knowing that there were other people that we were meeting that knew this person, and we're like, oh, he's had the same access to them that he's had. This is you thinking here, but he's had the same access to them that he's had to me.
Yep.
And these were younger women
Yep.
that were who didn't know him to be a scary, abusive guy yet, but would definitely be future targets for, what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I actually heard from, I think the person that you're talking about.
Yeah.
She messaged me the day everything broke and was like, I'm so sorry. And I believe you. And like, I just can't believe that happened, blah, blah, blah. And I was
were kind of doing her voice there for a minute.
Was I? Well, I love her and adore her, so that's fine. But yeah, and so I just messaged her back and I was like, you know what? I'm so happy this didn't happen to you. Like, this is why I said what I said, because I don't want this happening to any more women.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that's the reason when you mentioned that you wanted to maybe talk about this on the podcast is that's definitely how I feel about the situation too. Doing the kind of research into other kind of networks of abuse like this that have been outed historically. That's always the running thing is that either I knew and I was too afraid to say something and I wanted somebody else to be the one to say something.
Yep.
Or we had no idea. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Well, because that's part of what they kind of, and the industry, this the psychological child advocacy sort of field is trying to move away from this term, but that's kind of what grooming includes, right?
Yeah.
Is you're identifying who is going to let me get away with the things I want to get away with,
Mhm.
right? That's how the abuser is thinking.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times the people that are either tricked into sheltering abuse or who are the abused themselves, they're often manipulated to.
Well, and very much gaslighted.
Totally
like, that's my
gaslighted.
Oh yeah, she's just like a crazy
you
ex.
Can't
like,
just, and the things that people say, the things that I've heard people who I love in my family who are very sweet, kind people, the things that I've heard them say about like third party situations of abuse like this. It's just insane. So
it depends on what culture you come from too.
And there's generational things too, where I think before there was the language for it, certainly people like my grandparents' age, there was a lot of things that were abuse that people knew about that they would have said as young people at the time, what? That's not even that bad. It's not like he XYZ.
Right.
And so there's this huge mountain of abuse that we have to crawl out of. And there was this huge problem in the 1970s of this huge explosion of abuse at like a systematic level. And as we've seen, in, for example, the Catholic Church, I'm not only referencing the Catholic Church, but things like that, where now it seems like, oh my God, that's so crazy. But it was happening for decades. I mean, across neighborhoods all over the country. And, incidentally, the world. I haven't really studied sexual abuse globally.
Well, I think the main thing that comes down to is just the shame and the stigma around it.
Yeah.
Like, I am not just a victim of sexual assault. Like,
Also
I
true.
am a fucking badass woman who runs her own company, who started a nonprofit to try to help other women who are in similar situations than I am. You know, I'm a friend, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. I'm a human being. And I think a lot of dehumanization goes into sexual assault. I think because in general, as people, sex is still very taboo to talk about.
And
so then if it's sex against your will, then
good God forbid. That's to the abuser's advantage a lot of the time.
100%.
Especially if you're a younger female being abused by an
like,
older
she's
man.
Just a slut.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Or just the things that they will tell you that you haven't necessarily had the experience to know better. A lot of things are, I mean, some women, especially in the case of the Catholic Church. Did you watch that one that I'm thinking of on Netflix?
The one where in Baltimore?
You probably.
The Keepers.
Yeah. Oh my God. So good. And
I was not paying attention to the first episode, and they came in hot on the first clip on that
Those
second
women
episode.
had no idea necessarily that everything that we're experiencing was abuse until they started hearing other people say it like that. And it feels stupid because I've been in therapy for so long. It feels stupid for me to feel surprised in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I keep it in my routine because I know that I'm more productive and healthier when I'm doing it. But when I'm in therapy and I say something out loud and then I feel a sense of relief or feel some resolution, at first I'm like, oh, thank God. And then I'm like, that's so fucking dumb. All I had to do was say it out loud and now I feel better.
Yep.
Like, and I've been doing that a lot about things that are just so in the, past that you have to just learn how to come to terms with as an adult.
Yeah.
That like, I'm like, I don't need to talk about that because I already intellectually.
Well, it's like we were talking about last week when Ellie was like, I think we were last time we were at the pool all together.
Easy.
Oh, whatever. She, she was saying that she was like, oh, I didn't know that about you. And I was like, yeah, because I only talk about surface level trauma. Like, I'm not talking about the deep rooted stuff that I'm like starting to work
Well,
through.
and because there's things that you blame on more recent things, but but sometimes those more recent things are preceded by the other things. You know what I mean? And
for sure. Well, it's like you don't think about that event until something similar happens, and you're like, oh wait, that was actually kind of really not okay.
And that was a thing in another documentary that I know we've talked about before about some of these similar issues. Was that like it wasn't until sometimes the abused go on to have their own children, and then they start to have the realization that, oh my God, what if something like what happened to me happens to them? And that's where they actually start to realize that, oh, what happened to me was not okay.
Yep.
And that's the thing that a lot of people still need to hear. It's crazy to think, but a lot of people still need to have their story heard, and then they need someone to look at them and say, hey, that's not okay that happened. Because they really...
And I believe you.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you. That's the first thing I say to people.
Just
like,
for somebody to not try to talk them out of it immediately.
Yeah.
Or be like, are you sure? You know what I mean? Like, how much of that
were
is
you
there
drinking? Like, how drunk were you?
Oh, yeah. I had a Bud Light, so
so
immediately I can only consent, apparently.
Right, yeah.
Because I had a Bud Light orange. I mean, it's so that consent jokes that's a hard place to go, but that's what's so ridiculous is how people are.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how the stigma is. And again, if you talk about stigma, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah,
it sounds ridiculous to think that, oh, I don't want people to know that I'm on Percocet or something. Not Percocet. What's the one you take for your brain? I don't want people to know. Okay, that should be a problem.
Out yourself?
No, not me. But like, it's like if you didn't want people to know you were on Lexapro or something because you didn't want them to think that you're fucking crazy because Kanye West takes Lexapro when he feels like it. And
don't insult Ye.
He's my dude.
I know. We have the same opinions on Kanye and Beyonce.
Yeah, Kanye Twitty, and he and so but that's the thing is like there are people that like still think that any kind of illness is such a sign of weakness that they want to keep it private, and that sucks that they were made to feel like that. But you have to think that people are doing that. I mean, our Pride Month episode or whatever with my friends that we were talking about, a lot of it was their identity, their whole life has been one way solely because of stigma.
Yep.
You know what I mean? In the context of. In their case, coincidentally, the Catholic Church a lot of the time. So, but praise be.
Good old St. Louis Catholic.
Good Catholic. That's how my wife says I talk. Whenever someone, someone,
that's how you even say it.
Because I make fun of people that
Catholic
have accents
all the time.
Sure.
So you have to.
There's all kinds of A vowel sounds that I say.
Well, it's our hard Midwestern accent.
It's so hard.
Hard A.
It's so hard. That A, so rigid.
Too deep.
Joe is here. Joe, how are you today?
I'm good.
He doesn't have the headphones on. You're gonna get so mad.
Oh, that's why I screamed. I wanted to make sure he was
Look,
awake.
I told you.
I will put them on when it is, I was finding it actually kind of loud.
So Emma, I'm really appreciative that you're here. I'm so glad
thanks for having me.
No, I'm really glad that we get to kind of spread the word about, again, Surviving STL on all your social media platforms.
We are on Facebook. We're not as active. Usually we just share the Instagram to Facebook, but we are on Facebook as well.
Is it mostly Instagram based or is there a website?
Mostly Instagram based. We are building the website.
You're building
the mobile
a website.
launch will be coming up soon, and then we'll have the actual.
And we'll
web
link
browser
that.
ready.
We'll post that on our Instagram for the show too. We'll repost that on our story or whatever when that happens. But so stick around. Let's talk about some of the crazy world we've been living in here. Jesus. Wow, really good so far. We're already 40 minutes in, darling.
Damn, look at that.
Woo, girl.
Woo!
Can I write that off that I donated 40 minutes of my podcast to a nonprofit? I can write that off on my. I guess we'd have to be claiming some income. Lion's Choice. Call us. Call the show. Joe, we should put the show phone number on the lower third here on my screen.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Go ahead and drop me that again. I think I got it in here somewhere.
It's on. Yeah, it's in the doc.
So
Current events.
I was talking to my wife the other day. So I'm getting to the age where
We're the same age.
Right. We are getting to the age where I start having ideas not about necessarily, oh, what if I got a job here, or what if I traveled to this place and had this experience, but more so like, okay, what are my big long-term plans? Like, what I should invest in something, right?
Ugh.
And I'm not a stock
I'm glad I'm not
guy.
the only one that's like, okay, so I feel like I need to start investing my money like an adult, but I don't know where to start.
Yeah, who told you to do that?
I have
Nobody
some
told
ideas.
I yeah.
So
Didn't you have a whole podcast on that?
Yeah, so I'm thinking like we gotta think big, right? And so I was thinking like, oh yeah, like we could buy a building, or we could like blah blah blah. But like we could go bigger. We could go in with other people on bigger projects. Like rich people are all going to space. I don't want to go to space.
No, how do we get them to not go to space? They cannot go to space.
Because they're
That's
going to take all the
our
money,
world.
right? So if they go to space, then we know that it's like
over.
It's like District 9 down here.
Over for us. Yeah.
God, that's going to be hard.
It's going to be real rough.
It's already District 9.
I mean, how bad? How bad do you think?
Me?
How bad do you think that's going to be?
I mean,
Like Walking Dead?
yes.
With the
But I mean, if they're like, look, I'm not.
And I'm
gonna
not
give out
talking
my
about zombies,
plan,
but I'm talking about the brutal survivalist. There's no power. Everything's dirty.
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
eating
it'll be
pudding on a roof.
completely anarchy. Like if our planet starts dying and there are rich people on another planet,
God,
we talked about what we talked about Grimes.
You're going to be in one of those fucking biker gangs.
No.
You're going to be in one of those fucking apocalypse.
I don't need you to personally attack me like that in public platform.
I just feel like I can.
I have my plan for the end of the world, and people who are close to me know it, and I'm not disclosing it. But and I can grow a fucking garden. Like I'll make shit work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll get 8. So my thing is, I think we need to invest in something similar because I don't think Elon can just at around the age he is now go to space and live out the rest of his days. I don't think we're there yet technology wise. I think he's going to be a much older man if he gets to go by the time he goes. They're trying to hurry it up though because the world is on fire. We're going to talk about that.
Well, yeah, and his wife's gonna produce the first album on Mars.
Right. Yeah, and she's going to do a live birth.
Did she say that?
From the space
Guys,
station.
go look at her Spotify
That
bio.
is so
it's in her
tacky.
Spotify bio.
I can't.
That is so tacky.
I can't with her. She's a mess. But I get it.
That
I
is
also get it. We
ill-informed.
need people like that. We do need people like that to keep the rest of us together. Because if we can all agree that those people are like, come on, then we all stay a little more normal maybe. But here's the deal. So I think there's going to be this period of time where there's going to be people investing in projects to figure out how to use our relationship with space to our advantage. So speaking of nonprofits, one of the things I was thinking about doing, I want to call it Operation Banana Boomerang. We send rescued chimpanzees to space, but this time we let them come back with the data. And so it's going to be like this. We're going to get all this investment capital.
What's it called?
Operation Banana Boomerang.
That sounds like the male version of Hooters.
But it's a but it's rescue.
I'm just telling you right now.
But
That's
that was
the
a good one.
first thing I think of when you say
It's
that.
fostered chimpanzees, and they get to go to space and come
Yeah,
back.
that's not the image in my mind when you say that name. So,
So
you might
Operation,
wanna-
and so maybe we pay for it with a restaurant where men wear little yellow Speedos
Yeah.
and serve chicken wings. I'd eat there every day for lunch.
100%. Yeah.
Operation Banana Boomerang. It could be like the Rainforest Cafe, like a tropical menu.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We could do like a mango chicken wing.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have chickens in the jungle?
I like that they had a fog machine in that place. That was awesome.
What place?
Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, I don't think I've ever been.
Oh God, I think it's all gone now. I don't think they still
I
Yeah,
do
think
they
there's
shit
don't
like
still one
have
in
that anymore.
Chicago.
But this is like
Probably.
Probably.
closed.
this
Yeah,
was like
probably.
Planet Hollywood days
Right.
where shit was like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Lots of knickknacks on the walls.
Here
No.
at the Rainforest Cafe.
Well, yes, here too.
Yeah.
Is that the vibe you're
Just-
going for down here? It's like band
this
grunge
is going to be the Rainforest Cafe.
we'll
We're
get
gonna
you
do a
fog
pop-up.
machine.
We're going to do Operation Banana Boomerang.
Yes.
And we're going to have 3 naked young men waiters in here. Yeah, like 22. 22. What state are we in?
What?
Definitely at least 22. They have to have college degrees, and they're doing this for the chimps.
Yeah.
We're raising money to send chimps to
Community
space.
service.
Yeah. We're going to save the chimps and to give them a sense of purpose in their life. We're going to send them to space. We're going to let them push the buttons, and this time we're going to let them come back. And that's where the boomerang
Did they
comes
really
from.
let them just go up there and just left them? They're
They
like,
fucking
bye.
there's a chimp skeleton, unless it's been eaten by a star by now. There's a chimp skeleton in a little shuttle
That's
up there
super
floating.
depressing.
Oh, yeah. He's up there just floating, dead as fuck.
That's rude.
Frozen solid, stiff.
Space freaks me out.
It's cold up there. It's
I can't-
vacuumous.
I don't. Everyone's like, oh, totally.
So
I would
that's-
not go to
You know
space.
what I really want
No.
to tell you about space? You know what's crazy? Because
know.
it's vacuumous, there's actually not, like, if I reach out to you and I touch you right now, you know what I mean? Like, there's air between us, and my hand is moving through the air to touch you, right? If we're in space, the space is, I am the matter, right? So there is no air that I'm moving through. It's that space is bending around me reaching out to you because we're in the vacuum of space.
Uh-huh.
So moving on, Cosby's out. Cosby's out of jail.
that
Joe,
was
look something up.
Such a fun day.
I
That was
mean,
so good.
I didn't believe it.
I wanted to just.
So here we go.
Look, y'all are
His
lucky that
release
women
from
haven't
prison
burnt shit
explained.
down yet because we're close.
You know what? I've said this for years. There needs to be women. If women could unify on some kind of front to call out this kind of nonsense, I mean, I don't understand what we're doing, people.
It was on a technicality, not because he's not guilty, not because he did not rape women. It was because, what was it? I don't remember specifically, but
The court's decision seemed likely to end the Pennsylvania case. The legal experts said, and while more than 50 women across the nation have accused Mr. Cosby of sexual assault and misconduct,
Can we call him Bill?
right,
Fuck you.
statutes of limitations in their cases makes further prosecutions unlikely. I need to see where they
it was because I'm
profile powerful.
because of our pre-podcast activities. It's slipping my brain,
Yeah.
but
Statute of limitations?
it wasn't statute of limitations. It was because like there was anonymous testimony.
So they
Given.
overturned the conviction because prosecutors violated Mr. Cosby's rights by reneging on an apparent promise not to charge him, the court majority ruled. In 2005, Bruce Castor Jr., who was then the district attorney in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, outside Philadelphia, issued a news release saying that he had declined to charge Mr. Cosby over the matter. Mr. Cosby then sat for depositions in a separate lawsuit filed against him by Miss Constant, I guess, who's a different person from this article earlier, which he paid her $3.38 million to settle in 2006. Blah blah blah. And then a subsequent district attorney reversed that decision later. So this is the technicality you're talking about. Is that maybe he disclosed information or behaved in a certain way because he thought he had been promised some kind of an immunity that was then not held up by the...
Somebody posted it on my post where I was big mad about it. 1 second.
I'm just looking. I'm
It's
just
not
trying
that
to look
deep.
at
It's
it.
not like I post on stuff all the time.
No, right.
Cosby's attorneys had previously also argued that the testimony from 5 other women who accused Cosby of assaulting them in the 1980s
That's what it
tainted
is.
the trial,
Yes.
and that those other accusers should not have been allowed to testify.
Right, because they didn't, God forbid you set up a pattern of abuse and like, hey, this isn't a one-off.
I could see them overruling that for these specific issues. I think the
No, I'm
court
aware.
system could adjust that for these specific issues. Like if you are dealing with a sexual assault case,
Right.
I think that problem should be lifted.
Oh,
That's
so,
kind of, and that's that's something that we're
That's
pretty
something that you're-
passionate about with
Yeah.
so
surviving for
an
sure.
appeal. Any chance of an appeal to that decision would have to go straight to the U.S. Supreme Court
Yeah.
because it's they're the ones that would have the authority to review the Pennsylvania justice's constitutional analysis.
Yeah.
So
he's not guilty.
hey, remember the good old days where people fucking shot people that they thought were evil? Like, when's the last time a bad person
That
just got
literally never fucking happens ever. Like, and especially with all this with stuff with the guy that I outed, people are like, oh yeah, like I wish somebody would just like kill that dude, or
Oh,
like
yeah,
I wish
that's
somebody
not
would
gonna
beat him up. I'm like, then do it, like,
Yeah.
because none of you have, and it took a group of women speaking out against him, and so like.
Yeah,
none
thanks
of you
for
are-
nothing. 'cause
Right,
anyone-
like
you could have fought him this whole time.
What the fuck? Like what? No, idiots. No, but nobody ever. It's that here. It's the hero complex. Everybody thinks that they're gonna stop the gunman or stop the bad guy from happening, and 9 times out of 10, that's not what happened.
Okay, so you remember the girl from
Mm-hmm.
she's like the ex-stormtrooper girl in The Mandalorian.
And
And she got fired for being like too conservative and tweeting something about Jews or something.
Yeah.
And then so apparently she made some movie that Ben Shapiro put out that like about like
I had an ex tell me that
it's
I would
like-
really like Ben Shapiro.
it's I don't know what that means. It's weird. Hold on to that. But like this so this movie, the premise is this girl grew up being a competitive sharpshooter, and so she goes on a killing spree, killing live streaming school shooters.
Uh-huh.
It's all like it's some kind of pro gun thing. But that's
Well, I'm sure
that's
because all pro-gun people that are like that guns are they're part of their personality, not just
Right.
like a normal gun owner.
right.
They all think that they're going to stop a shooting from happening because they're probably been affected by gun violence in their life, and so they want to put themselves in the role and pull out of their trauma and be the hero of a situation for
correct
someone
it.
else, and that's never what happens.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous
Yep.
to try to recorrect some kind of trauma by reliving it some kind of new way with new bullets.
Therapy works, guys.
Yeah,
Just
therapy is much
just
better.
a PSA.
A little therapy on that. Put a praise on it. The Olympics are fucked up. So apparently, they're still going to happen. They were supposed to happen last year, but COVID, and they're
Yeah.
going to happen in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine the mess it's making there. It's already so
I
densely
don't-
populated. I feel so bad
That's a lot.
for Tokyo.
Well, I'm sure they have it
Tokyo is-
restricted on the numbers of people that are going to be there. It's not just like full open like it
Oh
normally
yeah,
is. 'cause
no,
we're
I'm sure it's gonna be
'cause
whack as
COVID's
fuck.
still real. We're still dealing with
So
the pandemic.
cannabis disqualification. I don't have the
Stupid.
name, Joe. The name
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Olympian who
Yeah.
got disqualified for testing positive.
Sherelle.
What?
I believe her name is Sherelle.
Of course, I'm going to ask Joe to pronounce a name that's not of his ethnic background. Let me look it up.
I'm looking it up.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Oh yeah.
How do we feel about? Is it the? I feel like there's a lot of like racially
super
targeted.
Yes.
Here's what I want to say. Not that cannabis is a racial issue.
No.
Because it's not. But that there's some targeted like racial stuff specifically against like women of color
Yeah.
with this Olympics. There's the thing about the hair caps
Yeah.
for the swimming.
the extended swim caps to fit over afro or large braids.
Well, Michael Phelps got busted for weed.
yeah, but okay,
Yeah,
so
but he
remind me of the
didn't lose
consequence.
anything.
Did he? That's what I thought
Well,
there
they-
were
they,
no
they
sponsorship.
suspend you. She's not fully suspended. She's not like fully kicked out. She's just suspended, I believe, from some of the trials, that kind of thing.
You got ice?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, and you know what, I understand, like marijuana is not, well, one, it's not federally legal here, but it's not as accepted from a legal standpoint in
Can you
other
even
countries.
get
but,
marijuana
like,
in Japan?
I don't know.
Cannabis. Who calls it marijuana?
Me.
It's cannabis.
Dope.
It's, grass.
So she won't be able to. So her main event is the 100-meter dash.
So she
And
won't
so
be able to do that.
Her ban ends 2 days after that. So she will be able to probably do anything after that, which will probably be. There's probably still a lot of things she could do.
Look this up. Did I hear that Russian athletes can't compete under a Russian flag because Russia is still being investigated for cheating?
What?
Joe's going to start Googling it. I heard that the Russian team can't perform under a Russian flag.
Who did you hear that from? Did you
It's
hear it
like-
on TikTok?
No. It's like on a podcast or something. It was
Russia's
like in a-
new team name flag agreed for the next 2 Olympics. That's what I'm gonna use.
because they were accused of withholding test results for the drug screenings they do.
Yeah,
and
Yeah, 'cause
with-
they're
they
all on, like,
accused the
coke.
country of running a state-backed doping program.
Yeah.
And that's badass.
so who accused them of that?
I love
the
Russia.
the board of aldermen or something?
Well, the Olympics Committee, the International Olympics Committee.
Olympics Committee. That's
Yeah.
what I meant.
ROC. Russia's name is going to be branded as ROC, not
Yeah.
Russia.
So this is about how I felt. I don't give a fuck about the Olympics, and it doesn't seem like we do as a group.
No.
No. So let's move on.
Well, no, I think we should talk more. I'm totally pro.
Can you give me
canceling the Olympics?
Can you give me 60 seconds of your opinion on the Olympics so I can pee?
Yeah.
Joe, take it away.
I'm really pro canceling the Olympics. Just the whole practice of and America loves measuring people's speed and measuring people's abilities,
Mhm.
but just the whole thing is just really, it's just really dumb.
Seems dated.
Well, yeah, it's dated, and it's just
But also, I mean, I was an athlete in high school, and I probably could have gone. I definitely could have gone to Junior Olympics and probably could have gone to the Olympics. But it's like, who wants to watch Olympic racquetball?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch
Right.
that.
right.
And there's some, but I mean, I get from an athlete standpoint, yeah, it's the top of your game, it's an honor, yada yada. But
That
it's a
whole
waste of
thing.
money.
Yeah, and more power to people that want to do it, because I'm glad that people who want to do it are trying to do it. That's really cool. But I just think the whole thing is just really, I hate the idea that somebody can just train their whole life and just all these technicalities can happen. I just think that's so dumb. And
Well,
I just
yeah, and
think,
especially in her case because she smoked a joint in a legal state after she found out her mom died.
right.
that's-
Well, and yeah,
I mean, even if her mom hadn't died and she smoked in a legal state, okay, it's legal. Shut up.
I have a hard time imagining that it's racially stimulated. I think here's what is racially stimulated. The ban of cannabis is what is racially
100%. The fact that there are all these white business owners opening up all these beautiful
Right.
dispensaries with
Oh,
these iPads,
right.
and it's
While
so
they're
tack,
still-
but then they're POC in jail for selling pot.
Yeah.
What?
They're still in jail.
Still,
Yeah.
to
They're
this
still
day.
in the jail
Nixon.
in California.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they now buying weed is like going to Starbucks.
Oh my God. At the
Mama
gas
Kamala.
station. Yeah.
And there's people in the same county as you in jail.
Yeah.
Maybe not the exact same.
No, the
I
whole
thought about
thing.
posting more about smoking because I have my med card and just taking that stigma away too. But
Well, I know, but come on. You're a small business owner.
oh, my clients know that I smoke.
No,
I don't go to work high, but my clients, they know. I feel
No,
like
but
it's
I'm
everywhere
also
in my
just
life.
thinking,
Well, that's a good
that's
thing.
the thing. People are all about, I really want to combat the stigma, but to an extent that other people, I mean, you don't want to die on that sword.
Well,
No.
I think it's I just think that the act.
But I mean,
of,
if you're watching somebody's whatever video that they posted on whatever social media and they're smoking a cigarette, you're not well, I mean, most people are ew, now, which is good for the younger generation. Don't smoke, bad habit. But cigarettes, nicotine. But you don't even think anything of it really. I mean, yeah, you might have a ew, that's gross, they smoke. But if you see somebody smoking pot, you're oh, they're
Well, 'cause
smoking weed.
It's still so in movies and stuff. You know what I mean?
What? No, what?
Just
so
the
in
people
movies?
smoking cigarettes.
Well, they did. It has to be rated R if they're smoking cigarettes in the movie now.
Oh, is
they're
it like that?
weird. Yeah, a show.
You want to talk about a psychotic puritanical organization? Did you see that documentary about those? There's 9 people that decide on those ratings for movies. And
I watched that documentary. That's a great movie.
Yeah. Who made that?
But it's called NC-17 or something. Or no, this movie is not yet rated. That's what it's called.
It's not yet rated. It was on
I've heard of
Netflix.
that.
It's all white women. They you watch these people in these screening rooms. It's all white women and like
Pearl
a couple of
clutching.
dudes. It's so funny. It's like you're watching. You're like, wow. And they
It
break down.
It looks like a school board meeting or something.
the one phrase that I always that was burned in my mind from that movie is there's something about the female experience that just has to be censored, and I thought that was really, really great. Just that statement.
Well,
Who said that?
It's in the movie. It's the female director. I think she was directing that movie. That Jessica Chastain. She plays a man. She plays a trans man. And it's a great movie. Let me look it up.
So this is an older documentary, but it's totally about this issue of censorship that we're all kind of arguing about again now. And it's just so funny that you can, maybe it's good that a movie's rated R if they're smoking cigarettes, because I don't want kids to smoke cigarettes. I certainly
Yeah, I mean, like watching Peaky Blinders on Netflix, it's rough. Especially if you're trying to quit smoking, do not watch Peaky Blinders because they're just constantly smoking cigarettes. But I mean, smoking pot in major cinema is still typecast into that like stoner pothead movie. Like,
it's so weird. It's because we're so over the shark already.
Yeah.
About the we joked that as soon as cannabis started becoming legal that they were going to Hobby Lobby it, and it's going to be like you're going to buy like a wooden sign for your guest bathroom that says 420, blaze it.
I do have a print in my house.
That really is.
I absolutely
and so
do.
it's already becoming like that, and everyone all the
it's
time.
gonna be the new live, laugh, love of the pothead women.
And if I get one more thing, but I do like the edibles. From the old people that are like, oh, I don't smoke it.
Edibles are the worst. But continue.
But if you had any of them edibles. I hate that word now, edible. It's like how I felt about the word economy 12 years ago. It's like how I feel about the word edible now. It's like, stop. Or like they used to say relatable all the time. I'm like, there's so many better words. Or now, you know what people are saying now that's fucked up? Comfortability.
Who says that?
I'm hearing it all the time. These, I can't really talk about it. It's an ongoing. I'm in a lawsuit against everyone that I have ever previously. Anyone that I've ever previously worked with, I have a class action lawsuit against every single one of them. And so I can't talk about it. But there's people that instead of saying comfort or comfortable, they want to refer back to the noun comfort, right? Mm-hmm. Something that you have or feel, a feeling. And so they say comfortability.
Like, are you talking like a car has comfortability?
They're just saying that,
or there's like there's a level of comfortability.
I want you to have the comfortability or things that I'm saying. It's whack.
That's weird. Is that like a real word?
No. You would just say comfort. You're making, if comfortable was a word by itself, you would need comfortability. But we already have comfort. Comfortable comes from comfort, which is the word by itself. That's what comfortability means.
Gotcha.
And like relatable is the same thing. It's just like, can you be more specific? There's so many other. The word relatable is so lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I feel so much smarter now.
So, speaking of which, the Earth is on fire. Did you hear about this?
Of course I did. There are like 4 or 5 of them, weren't there? Not from the same.
So the Arctic heat. There were ground temperatures last week of up to 118 degrees.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the ocean being on fire.
And then, I forgot about that. That's recent.
How'd you forget about that?
Because it's more recent than my notes. And so, last week there were ground temperatures in the Arctic of up to 118 degrees, which is way too hot.
Yeah.
For up there where we keep the ice.
What are we going to do if those diseases come out of that melted ice that we just have no cure for?
I haven't even gotten to worry about that yet. But maybe that's how we'll add zombies.
Up.
Maybe we'll add zombies. Maybe
that's how the zombies come around.
Yeah. So we'll already be in an apocalypse situation where we have to fight people for canned food. And then the ice caps will melt and the zombies will come down from the ice.
Where do
be
the
like
aliens?
and the aliens will
in
come
this,
in and
though?
watch because that's the new thing is that they don't think the
But
aliens
what if they're
actually
here
want.
in the ocean? You know, how do they feel about the ocean being on fire? Maybe they set the
And
fire.
so now, since I've already planned to talk about the Arctic heat and just how it's so hot, it was like 110 degrees in Portland the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And my great uncle lives over there, and
Really?
in like Oregon. He lives in Sisters, Oregon.
I have an old neighbor that lives in.
I shouldn't say
Eugene.
shit like that because he could be living there because of witness protection or some shit. I wouldn't know. But he lives up there, I think, and it was like 110 fucking degrees.
Didn't they have to shut down like businesses?
Yeah,
It was just
people's
too hot?
trash cans were melting in Las Vegas and shit. Like their big hard plastic trash cans that they put on the curb were melting.
What do we do? How do we stop that?
Okay, now that's the thing. So that's the big what if, huh?
Right.
And so I was talking to a buddy at brunch the other day that
Where'd you go to brunch?
that ozone, Clover and the Bee.
Okay.
If you follow me on Instagram, woo, the motherfucker, we were talking about the ozone
Mhm.
and how like there used to be a hole in the ozone and it's closing up, but that's actually exacerbating the greenhouse gas effect because the greenhouse gases could go out of that hole. So I'm stressed out about that. And then since we did a last podcast, we haven't talked about this. I have Britney's full testimony here. Did you listen to the whole thing? I couldn't listen to it. I got
I
too
don't
upset.
think I listened to the whole thing. I'm so annoyed that they took the documentary
This is
off
Britney
Hulu.
Spears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag free Britney. I'm really upset I didn't get to watch the original Hulu documentary that kind of sparked all the newfound free Britney movement people to come in.
I never watch unauthorized documentaries because I always feel bad for the people that are there about.
You didn't watch it either?
No.
Who did? Somebody in our group chat did.
But I saved the full testimony because and I had this impulse to do an emergency podcast to respond to it, but I didn't feel prepared enough to handle the case. But my hero, Johnny McGovern, actually did that because he felt prepared enough to talk about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to document it because he felt like they were going to take the testimony down. But she was so angry, and I didn't anticipate her being so Southern.
I don't think she was angry. I think that we hear the version of Britney Spears, the pop star, when she talks.
I did not
and
think she
has
was
to be
unreasonably angry, but
light
it just
and airy and like,
Yeah.
oh, nothing's wrong. Look at me do
Yeah.
weird twirls in my tiny clothes that
Yeah.
I've worn for the past 15
and they
years.
make her do that voice.
Yeah,
too.
but then she's talking from the heart and she's talking with passion. And
Yeah.
yeah, of course she's going to get a little Southern. She's from Louisiana.
I didn't realize that.
Thick country accent.
Because they sold her to Disney so young, I thought they would have worked that out of her by now.
no, that
She's
never
been
goes
back.
away.
She's been back home.
That never goes away.
Yeah, and she lives there with Sam, or near Sam. Sam lives there. Her boyfriend, is that his name?
Who?
She has a boyfriend.
I
She
think
wants
they
to have a
live
baby with.
together.
Do they live together?
I don't know.
Because that's the thing. So there's so many details that were just crazy, and I think the whole world's opinion is
K-Fed put a statement out through his lawyer finally.
what? Do you
Yeah,
have
just
that?
in support of her. I couldn't find it.
Joe, can you look up Kevin Federline's statement on Britney's testimony? Thank you, Joe. That's Joe's job. Let Joe do it.
Okay, I'm looking.
So how
Tim
many
said
kids?
that he stands me. I love you, Tim.
How many
You're
kids?
my favorite. Tim, you're one of my favorite friends of Jake's that I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, all my friends are having this problem where they all are starting to like each other, and then but now it's like, oh, now the world is opening back up. We have to start doing things again. And so how many kids do they have together?
2. They have 2 boys.
They have 2.
Apparently, the oldest one made some ignorant comment on an Instagram post that I'm sure has been deleted since. But
Recently?
yeah,
Oh, because I've seen his Instagram stuff before.
it was like a response to a comment, and it was kind of insensitive. But it's also like, okay, give the kid a break because he's literally a kid.
Yeah,
and like
he's-
should not be exposed to all these things that his mom's going through.
Yeah, he's the real victim here.
Yeah, basically,
Kevin
Kevin said that like he's in
Federline.
support of her and like he wants her to be happy and healthy and successful.
Well, that's nice of him because nobody expects that out of that bag of shit.
No.
The best thing would be for their mom to be healthy and happy.
Yep.
And if either of those things aren't true, it doesn't provide for the best setting for custody to be exercised. Kaplan continued, he certainly expects Britney and only hopes the best for her, because when the best for her is achieved, it's the best for their kids.
Jesus.
The kids love their mother, and he wants there to be a healthy and strong relationship.
He actually has
So it was
a restraining
written-
order against Britney's father. Kevin does.
K-Fed does?
Yeah.
That guy's a piece of shit.
No, like he had to put it
says,
against Jamie because
No, I'm saying Jamie's
yeah,
a
He
piece of
continues.
shit. Sorry,
He
I meant,
continues.
let me be clear. Jamie Spears is a piece of shit.
Garbage.
That's what we should call the
He
episode.
continues. He says, Britney,
Brother, on site, honey. Like, I would be afraid to leave my house if I was him, because that was my immediate reaction to the testimony. Truly, was like, if I could smack that old piece of shit in the mouth.
I mean, it's expected, but the sister's really the problem.
He
Really? No. So fill me in about why is the sister a problem?
Because she's all like, oh, I support my sister and I love her and she's so amazing. But she has done nothing but benefit from the conservatorship.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she and the brother too.
You mean
Brittany's
Zoe
brother.
101?
Yeah.
I mean, she's
And
on
she
the
apparently
because she's on
pulled
the
a
teat,
knife on
right?
someone.
Like she doesn't still have Disney money. Like she's
No, we've also talked about her baby daddy and the real truth on that too.
on Jamie Lynn's baby daddy.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't even have that.
that was the whole Dan Schneider thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He continues, Britney has not been served well by the conservatorship, and it's not consistent with what she wants. I think that she should be able to challenge... Okay, so Kaplan also shares that he feels Spears should be able to request to terminate the conservatorship that was first established following the 2008 hospitalization, stating, I think that she should be able to challenge that, and if it's what's best for her, Kevin supports it.
Is that around the same time that she shaved her head and attacked him with the umbrella?
I think that was 2008. Is that shave
Or-
head?
That's what I mean. Was that
Did
era?
you see the pictures of her extensions? No wonder
dude.
she shaved her head. Like I would have too. First of all, I hate taping extensions. I hate
Oh
them.
yeah.
There's something. Ugh. But I mean, it was rough.
We
But
should do
what
a
were they
hair
drugging on
2007
her?
is...
We should do a hair segment for the podcast in the future. I just had the idea.
We
Write
can
this
get
down.
real nerdy on that.
No, but I'm saying we'll prep some stuff. We'll
Yeah.
we'll do it for next time there's an event where people have hair.
Basically, like I'm teaching a class, but
Or we could do that too. But I was just thinking like just reacting to hair situations.
oh,
If we could get like bad hair TikToks and then talk, that'd be fun.
yeah,
I love that that's such a highlight of her life that everybody, all like the middle-aged women around the world were like, why is she can't? That's so crazy. Like, and it's like, but if you really think about it, not only do people do it a lot now, but it's just like, that is the height of like, she can't do that. That's like if a man who's like a bodybuilder just started, I'm gonna get skinnier, you know, and I'm gonna lose some of this weight and I'm gonna lose some muscle with it.
You mean she can't shave her head?
Yeah, I just think that's so funny. It's like
it's
so dumb.
people's opinions of how other people should wear their hair is a big problem.
I think
Mhm.
that's so funny with women specifically.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Great. So we crushed that. Put this in the conspiracy folder. McAfee apparently
wait.
hung himself in jail in
Oh wait,
Spain.
Allegedly.
Tim Kohler has some commentary.
Who?
Oh.
Kohler.
Kohler.
I'm not getting him on my
Tim
multi-stream.
Kohler?
I'm sorry.
Hashtag free Britney, neck kid. I don't know. Kevin has
Yep,
a restraining
yep.
order on Britney's dad.
Tim is correct
and
on
then
that.
allegedly Britney's kids are not allowed to be around Britney's dad because of the restraining order.
Mhm.
Great point. We are interacting live with the audience because we are live
I
streaming.
just
I
wanted
think
to
it was
give
like
him that.
a situation of like physical violence or something like that.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim, on the
I
tip.
told you guys he's the best.
Yeah, this is what I mean. You know, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
McAfee hung himself in jail in Spain.
McAffee.
That guy. After apparently, didn't he tweet that he wasn't going to hang himself in jail?
Yes, he did.
So
Allegedly.
So that's not great. Why do you think Hillary Clinton murdered him?
I don't know.
Do I have
So
to Google this
apparently there are
myself, too?
some, like,
No,
there's
no.
some
Well, I can
secret
tell you,
papers that he has
McAfee
to
is a
expose
security
people.
He's got papers to expose who on what?
engineer.
Some of the blackmail shit?
I don't know. Yeah, some like
He's
rich
got
white
their.
people. He's gonna just.
He was hoarding their emails the whole time.
Yeah.
Is he the email guy?
He really,
So.
it is suspicious because, so he's like a software engineer, designed a really successful software security company called McAfee. And like, that is really suspicious. But he was in, what was it, Brazil? Barcelona. He was in prison, Barcelona. Yeah, so he definitely was murdered. If it was, that's really, it's suspicious when it's an out of the country prison. I'm suspicious of all out of the country
He was supposed
prisons.
to be extradited to the United States. They were
Yeah.
getting ready to
He
bring
was-
him here
except for
awaiting
Sweden.
trial.
But didn't he just tweet like 6 months ago that, hey, I'm having a good time here, and if I hang
Yeah,
myself,
the food's good.
yeah, the food's good. I have friends. If I hang myself like Epstein, it wasn't me,
Yeah.
right? And then,
That was so smart.
but why would he?
I mean, like, I don't want to take away, and like, God forbid, this actually was a big thing. But like, what if he was just trolling the fuck out of people? I'm just like, I'm gonna start some shit before I die. Like, that'd be like the ultimate troll.
God, that would be so.
I might do that.
Because so what was he being charged with?
Yeah. Okay. So
right on the mic there.
He ran for U.S. president as a libertarian, and launched a new security product that he called a fucking game changer. It's a weird name for a company.
Better than banana hammock.
His death came after
Operation Banana Boomerang, where we have naked waiters sell chicken
sending
wings,
chips to space,
so that we can rescue chimps from people that don't deserve them, like Joe Exotic, and we put them in a rocket, and then we let them come back with data.
Okay, so a statement from the Catalonia Regional Government Justice Department, which manages prisons there, said that the prison medical personnel and guards attempted to perform life-saving procedures after finding McAffee, but were unsuccessful. The statement said everything indicates that McAffee could have died by suicide. Could have died?
Himself?
Seriously? This is CNN. Could have died by suicide. Everything indicates that they might have died by suicide is basically what they're saying.
Well, I mean, was his neck snapped or like did he hang himself?
Well,
did he
I thought he hung himself.
Yeah, I think he hung himself.
No, he hung himself. That's why it's so crazy.
Yeah.
His death came after a ruling from a three-judge panel in Spain's National Court in Madrid this week that McAfee could be extradited to the United States to face charges there.
Yep.
The decision could still have been appealed to a larger panel of judges at the same court, according to the court documents. McAfee had a cellmate at the prison, but the person was not in the cell around the time that McAfee was found dead.
Found dad. He found his dad.
A prison official who asked not to be named told CNN. The official added that the other person was out doing other normal activities at the prison. Asked if authorities had imposed a special monitoring measures on McAfee in his cell, the official said, "I'm not aware of that." That's cool. Yeah, man, he's this is suspicious, but I'm still trying to look for why he went to jail.
Was there ever a legitimate link to that conspiracy theory that the building that collapsed in Florida contained documents that were related to McAfee?
I thought it was a housing place. It was a housing project.
Yeah, allegedly he had an apartment there. So I'm saying the conspiracy. I'm saying, have there been any links to it?
Okay, he was put in jail for failing to file tax returns.
Tax returns?
From 2014.
He's not hanging himself over tax returns.
Yeah, from 2014 to 2018 in Tennessee, and concealing assets, including a yacht.
He better not be concealing a yacht.
I don't know.
You don't hang yourself over tax returns.
No. Why is he in prison in another country?
Because he was evading taxes abroad, and they said, Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
You can't go to a country with good hospitals and expect not to get sent back home to go to jail. You can't do it. That's true. You want to go somewhere with a shitty hospital, you can go there and be free and be like, look, I'm in Tahiti. But you want to go to Spain where you can get good shit? Then guess what, bitch? Clink, clink.
I think
Where's
he was
my tax money?
I think he was just crazy, and he was probably like a super neoliberal atheist. Shut up, neoliberal atheist, and probably was just tired of living, just like Bourdain. I think people just get tired of living.
Okay, well that's why aren't you just drinking the Kool-Aid?
LaCroix.
What are you doing?
LaCroix.
Hey, can you get me one of those, by the way?
Yeah.
So I don't buy that for a minute. I'm also really upset about the Anthony Bourdain connection with the whole, his girlfriend porked that minor.
Yeah.
And he spent all that money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was suspicious. I don't genuinely. I mean, and I feel like a lot of his close friends were like, he would not have done that.
And not that he didn't necessarily take his own life. I'm not equating the two. But that's some kind of shady situation that I'm sure he didn't feel great about.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we solved that one. Hey, why the fuck does John Cena speak Mandarin?
What? Does he actually?
Yeah. But here, I'm gonna play this for you, Joe. You gotta put your headphones on. I hope it plays.
你好，中国，这是叫西娜。我必须说，现在，在《速度与激情》中，我做很多采访，很多，所以在一个采访，我有
In one of the interviews, I made a mistake.
所
Everyone
有
can
人
ask me if I could use
我
Chinese to
如
explain
果
it. So
我可以
he was
用中
promoting
文
Fast and Furious 9.
速度与激情
The
9
F9 crew has given me a lot of information. This is John Cena speaking Mandarin.
所以很多采访，很多 information， 我有一个错误，
I made a
我必须
mistake.
说
I have to
现
say
在
this
就是
right now.
很重
Very,
要
very, very, very important to
我
me.
爱更尊重
I love
中
and
国
respect
跟
China and the
中国人
Chinese people.
我很
So he just
抱
memorized
歉
this. He doesn't actually
对
speak
我的
No, I think he
错误
does. I think
对
I
不起
heard that
对
he
不起
does.
我很抱歉你必须了解我
I really love and respect China and the
很
China
尊
people.
重中国跟
Oh,
中
he
国人
is fluent.
不好意思
In Mandarin, I think that was part of Vince McMahon made him do that.
Yeah, and during his time in WWE,
So
we can
it's
help the
creepy
company's
as
quest
fuck.
to break into
It's
the Chinese
creepy
market.
as fuck to watch John Cena speak
weird.
to you in Mandarin POV style like that.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, like the NBA thing where they all have to be really touchy about China because of the money they make off of that market. Apparently, it has something to do with that. So he called Taiwan a country in an interview where he was promoting Fast and the Furious 9, where apparently he's Vin Diesel's long unmentioned brother.
Yeah.
And then Ludacris and Tyrese go to space. So I hate to spoil any of that for you, but that's just what I've
really,
that's just what I've gathered.
Going to get an award for it.
Yeah,
know what
I've
I'm
just
saying? And
gathered
not a
that.
Teen Choice Award either.
Yeah, now that all the
Fucking
good
Golden Globes.
filmmakers are either in prison or hanging themselves in their closets, yeah, Fast Nine's going to get an Oscar, and then The Rock is going to be president, and I'm going to get eaten alive by my own grandchildren.
Yep. That's where we're going. That's the
So
direction
why
we're
the
headed.
fuck does John Cena speak Mandarin?
Didn't you see that South Park
literally just
episode
said
where
it.
they were talking about how all of the, Marvel, all of these people are just totally shilling to China all the time? Like, it's just like, oh, the basketball teams, and they were on the plane. You remember? And he's on the plane with like all the superheroes and LeBron James and everybody. It
Yeah,
was like really funny.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Let's
People-
do that.
understand that
So
now,
let's go to internet podcast radio and talk about a TV show.
I'm just saying it's the reason it was so
This week
controversial-
on Not Another Below Deck podcast. So John Cena speaks Mandarin
Fluently.
Hey, did you hear this? This is a weird story. California to pay off all past due rent accrued during COVID, giving renters clean slate.
I sure did.
California is paying off residents past due rent that was accrued during the COVID-19 pandemic, giving renters a clean slate, Gavin Newsom announced recently. The state's $5.2 billion in funds from congressionally approved aid packages is enough to pay off overdue rent, according to Newsom's senior counselor on housing and homelessness, Jason Elliott. The Associated Press reported, however, just $32 million of $490 million in requests for rental assistance have been covered so far, according to a California Department of Housing and Community Development report. Okay, great. So I was expecting more opposition in the article to the idea, but it looks like it already passed.
Yeah.
They're already doing it.
It's 80-20, right? Did it say it in that article?
Yeah, that's what
I thought. I thought
that's
I heard
what it
you say
looked
that,
like.
but you were mumbling and I was zoning out.
Sorry, yeah, I was trying to read. I'm like I feel
yeah,
like
so they are. So and your landlord, I believe the landlords have to apply for that. Now I think that some landlords can opt out because they're assholes.
Right.
But yeah, no, my partner's based out of Sacramento, so I'm pretty familiar with the goings on in California right now.
Seth Rogen is a landowner in California that rents to people.
Isn't he Canadian?
I hate that guy.
How do you hate Seth Rogen?
Well, I don't know. He just cultural appropriation, hangs out with James
Of
Franco
what?
all the time.
True, hanging out with James Franco is a big
that's
no-no.
a no-no.
That's
You
a
can't
no-no.
be hanging out with James Franco.
And he's
No.
making movies about white boys smoking weed while, all the people in jail, just like we were
That's
saying.
true. You know what,
Full
Joe?
circle.
That
It's
is
laughing
true.
in the face of all the people in jail.
Great.
How
Thank you for bringing me
dare.
back to that. The injustice.
I don't think he really does that anymore, though. Does he? What does he do now?
Who?
Seth Rogen.
He made Conan smoke weed, and everyone acted like they killed somebody on TV or something. It was so weird.
He made him
It's
do
like
it.
making your grandma
He
say a curse
held him
word.
down and put a funnel in his mouth and just blew
So let's
smoke
go
into
long
it.
form, guys. We're an hour 20 in. Isn't that
Hour
amazing?
20.
That's a really good episode. But so let's go long form here, and we'll end on one of our more open-ended kind of topics. I have this article here from Economist. Can too many brainy people be a dangerous thing. Some academics argue that unhappy elites lead to political instability. This
Isn't that what's already happening right now?
Well, so the article is claiming that we have too many college-educated young professionals and not enough. What do we call them, Joe?
What do you bumpkins?
No, we have. Come on.
What?
Like somebody on your old Facebook called them worker bees.
Neurodivergent rats. Riffraff.
Yeah, we're talking
new
about riffraff.
neighbors.
No, the opposite. We don't have enough. We have too much.
We have too many smart people. You need the dum-dums to come in.
Right. We have too many overeducated, overqualified people.
People who just did what the system told them to do, and now it's failing them.
Right.
Because it's an unstable
People with
system.
people with doctorates in education.
So the article is surmising that because for the past 30 years we've told everybody they have to go to college, and then we federally subsidized college loan debt so that people that couldn't even afford necessarily the loans could then get loans to go to college, right? This whole thing that we, so many of us our age especially, we're kind of programmed to go do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so now we have way more like entry-level educated, certificated professionals than we do like positions for them.
Right.
And then me and Joe were talking about this the other day. There's just always been this huge stigma against like blue-collar jobs like plumbers or electricians.
I love a blue-collared worker.
I
feel like that's known. I feel like people in my life just know that. But like,
I knew that about you.
Yeah. Without
having to say anything. But that's not even what I'm talking about. But I mean, like, those guys make really good money.
Yeah.
It's totally
Tradesmen.
a different experience than going to a 4-year traditional, abstract college experience, especially now with all the virtual things. And like, I don't understand why there's still a stigma like that's a worse job or something, because it's actually a better job.
It's the movies and like social media, like. Consumption is such a big deal on social media, and this is all my opinion, but like, on social media you have everybody, paying to take pictures on private airlines, but they don't actually fly anywhere, like stuff like that. So like, we just like
it's
everything
flex for the gram.
Yeah, everything is flex for the gram. And so if you like, and people just search for that, and they search for that in their partners and stuff, and
Well, I
they
think
search
people
for money.
still don't consider trade schools to be college. Like, I know that was the thing when I wanted to start off in cosmetology school straight out of high school. My parents were like, no, you need to go get a real degree. And like, now they know that's offensive, and now they understand why, because like when I started cosmetology school, I was a straight A student, graduated with honors, all of that, like, because I was doing something I wanted to do. But a trade school degree is just as valid as any other degree, and I think that's part of the stigma around that as well.
Well, that's sort of the problem,
and
too.
It's an elitist thing. It's a hierarchy. Like, you build phone poles for a living. Like, oh, okay. Like, what do you do? Like, you're an accountant? Cool.
But those guys make tons of money.
I know. I dated one.
Yeah.
And a pipe fitter. God, I love union men.
Oh, a pipe fitter.
I love union men. I
You know
can't
what I
handle
mean?
it.
Where they can lay it on you, and then they got that health insurance, so if you get pregnant, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's when it's good.
I'm saying.
That's what love
I know.
You know what I mean?
R.I.P. Smitty. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that hurts my soul. Jesus. That hurts my soul, Jesus.
Yeah.
I know an old retired pipe fitter. Pipe insulator. He just insulated the pipes.
He didn't just get them in there?
No. He just wrapped them to keep them hot.
I think we could also, I think engineers could also, because they pack so much into the engineering degree, I think they could also do a pretty good job at teaching people a trade. I think we also, these well-rounded degree programs at liberal arts schools is such bullshit. These kids are paying so much to like learn them like garbage. To like, they could make them like learn trades at the same time as they're getting their degree, because with the amount of education that they pack into those stupid liberal arts programs, they could be teaching them like, well, you're also going to lay tile. Like, you're going to lay tile and you're going to study history. And like, they could totally do that.
Nobody's going to
so
lay
easily.
that tile. We're not taking out all these loans to then go fucking lay tile, Jesus.
Well, you graduate with two things. You graduate with an expertise.
So that's so the tile's a weird example, but what you're saying is a good point. That you're saying that that we should be giving them more applied field training. And that's the thing, is that we could not get enough of when I was going to school to be a teacher, because that's the only time you really learned anything, was when you got to be around real kids and see when things would happen that were real. that's just so hard to place. And so it's easier to rack up all these credit hour bills with these classes where you're going to, hire retired professionals to come in and teach part-time and go through talking points in the first 4 chapters of a textbook. That's $200.
I just think we have so many.
That's a terrible system. But that's what you're saying is that's not an effective way to learn. We should, every kind of field of study should require some applied learning, and it shouldn't just be the last semester of you doing that field of study. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Well, we should be able to merge programs that Rankin has with programs in because I think we really aren't actually strict enough about what well-rounded means. Like, we want people to study poetry, and it's like, that's not well-rounded in my opinion. Well-rounded is when you can work on a car, like when you're stuck and you can work on a car and also...
I want you to read poetry while you're working on my car.
That's I cannot believe, there's some classes that I'm like, why did I don't know, I shouldn't have to fucking pay for that.
I can tell you,
Bullshit.
that's totally, that experience was catered to people like me that were so desperate to avoid physical labor that we assumed tens of thousands of dollars in debt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those programs are not for people like you that want to have hands-on experience in doing something that's concretely valuable. We were trying to avoid all those things. It was a bad idea.
That's interesting.
It was like rich queer summer camp. That's where you do all your self-parenting
Like
and you
100%.
learn about like how to talk to other adults out in the world, and that you haven't known since kindergarten or something. Like, it's so much of it is a privileged adult growing experience.
Yeah.
And it's like a place where, okay, if you can afford this time to ride out your youth and kind of learn some etiquette so that you can earn your seat at the table, then you can just kind of do that. There's a path laid out for you, right? And then, but now, then universities kind of expanded because that federal loan money was guaranteed so that they can cash in on that.
cheaper.
And so now it's a huge complex. It's a huge issue.
It's also cheaper to teach from a book than actually have to have a warehouse to like practice all this stuff.
It's cheaper to teach her. It's not teach though. It's keep.
Keep.
It's cheaper to keep her.
Oh yeah,
By the Blues Brothers.
that's a great song.
You were saying, that's what I'm saying. It's cheaper to get a retired Catholic school teacher
That's exactly right.
to come teach these 20-year-old kids that think they want to teach public school and to talk them through the first few chapters in a $200 textbook, pay them $1,500 a course per term or whatever, and then get them out of here. They don't need any benefits because they're fucking retired and they're using this cash to pay for their own health insurance, and fuck them.
That's what we were talking about. How it's
That's the attitude.
It's all a paycheck. It's all a paycheck for the teachers, and it's not about.
But even the
students.
administration of the thing, and that's what's really inflated is college administration costs. Like the president at the university I went to while I was going there made like $1.2 million a year. I'm like, how this was a college that was founded for nuns. Why are you paying this literal cartoon character $1.2 million a year? And she's a fine lady. I got to sit next to her once. There's a picture. If you go to like graduate admissions on their website, I think there's still a picture of me and her. And I'm looking like she's talking and I'm looking like, yeah, girl.
I love that picture is probably like her version of like the Pope meeting Jay-Z or something. Like you're like, yeah, I hung out with a long-haired kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. We have non-traditional students because they thought I was 35.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's probably because I was an undergrad, but it's on the graduate admissions page. It's like that motherfucker's at least 30.
Right.
So we solved that, guys. Okay, so we solved all sorts of things. My God, I'm gonna let you guys go. Stick with me while I wrap this up.
Who has the right to the Holy Land?
Emma, so let's get your take on
What?
this. Emma, really, who do you feel, what side are you with the Israel-Palestine thing right now?
And what's the truth?
What is the truth? Who really
I
needs to
feel
be
like
there?
this is a trap. I don't like it. I don't have all of the information, but I do believe that my political alignment would be to be free Palestine.
Yeah. I see. I'm starting, but you know what?
I mean, it's.
But what about the reasons why they shouldn't?
What? Oh no, he's just.
No, I literally just said I'm not informed enough.
Alrighty.
Ignorance is.
Guys, that's another episode of Jacob V Weekly. High five. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, 26602.